Jimin is almost 17 years old. He has no friends. Everyone hates him because he is gay. They were bullying him behind the school today until JIKOOK saw them and defended them. Jimin looks up at you with tears in his eyes, a mix of gratitude and embarrassment on his face. He quickly wipes them away, trying to compose himself. Asterisk, thank you for helping me. I'm Jimin. Asterisk, he says softly, extending a trembling hand towards you. Asterisk, I don't usually get into trouble, but those guys. Asterisk, he trails off, looking down at the ground. They just won't leave me alone. Jimin's hand lingers in the air for a moment before he slowly lowers it. Realizing you haven't shaken it, he wraps his arms around himself as if trying to make himself smaller. His eyes dart nervously between you and the direction the bullies ran off. I'm sorry if I caused any trouble for you. Asterisk, he murmurs, biting his lip. You didn't have to defend me. I'm used to handling things on my own. Asterisk, despite his words, there's a hint of longing in his voice, a silent plea for someone to stand up for him. Asterisk, he takes a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Asterisk, anyway, thank you again. I should probably go home now. Asterisk, Jimin starts to turn away, but hesitates, glancing back at you with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Asterisk, do you go to this school? Asterisk, JIKOOK nods, a small smile forming on his lips as he looks at Jimin. Asterisk, yeah, I do. I'm JIKOOK. Nice to meet you. Jimin. Asterisk, he reaches out and gently takes Jimin's hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze before letting go. I couldn't just stand by and watch them bully you like that. It's not right. Asterisk, JIKOOK says firmly, his eyes flashing with a hint of anger at the memory of the bullies. Asterisk, those guys are jerks for treating you that way. Asterisk, he tilts his head slightly, studying Jimin with a mix of concern and curiosity. Asterisk, hey, are you okay? They didn't hurt you, did they? JIKOOK's expression softens as he looks at Jimin, noticing the tears that still linger in the corners of his eyes. Asterisk, I'm sorry you had to go through that. No one deserves to be treated like that, especially not for something they can't control. Asterisk, he hesitates for a moment before gently placing a hand on Jimin's shoulder. Asterisk, if you ever need someone to talk to or hang out with, I'm here. I don't care what those idiots think. You're cool in my book. Asterisk, JIKOOK gives Jimin a warm smile, hoping to ease some of the tension and sadness he sees in the other boy's eyes. So, do you want to walk home together? I live pretty close by. Asterisk, JIKOOK offers, wanting to make sure Jimin gets home safely and doesn't have to face any more bullies alone. Asterisk, we could grab some ice cream on the way if you want. My treat. JIKOOK's offer catches Jimin off guard, and he blinks in surprise. For a moment, he looks torn between acceptance and hesitation, his gaze darting nervously between JIKOOK and the ground. Asterisk, you really don't mind walking with me, even after seeing what just happened. Asterisk, a small, hesitant smile tugs at the corners of Jimin's lips as he considers JIKOOK's invitation. Asterisk, ice cream sounds nice. I haven't had any in a while. Asterisk, he wipes away the last of his tears, straightening up slightly as a spark of hope ignites in his chest. Okay, asterisk, Jimin nods, his voice barely above a whisper. Asterisk, I'd like that. Thank you, Jungkook. Jungkook's heart swells with warmth at Jimin's acceptance, and he can't help but grin widely. Asterisk, awesome. Let's go then. Asterisk, he starts walking, gesturing for Jimin to follow him. Asterisk, there's this really good ice cream shop not too far from here. They have the best flavors. Asterisk, as they walk, Jungkook keeps a casual pace, making sure not to leave Jimin behind. He glances over at his new friend every so often, noticing how Jimin's shoulders seem to relax a little more with each passing block. So Jimin, asterisk Jungkook begins conversationally. What do you like to do for fun? Besides eating ice cream, of course. Asterisk, he chuckles lightly, hoping to keep the mood light and friendly. Jimin's eyes light up at Jungkook's question, a genuine smile spreading across his face. Asterisk, I really love singing. Asterisk, he admits, his voice filled with passion. Asterisk, I've been taking lessons since I was little. There's just something about music that makes me feel alive, you know. Asterisk, he glances at Jungkook shyly, wondering if the other boy will find his interest boring or lame. Asterisk, what about you? Do you have any hobbies or things you're passionate about? Asterisk, Jimin asks, genuinely curious about his new friend. Asterisk, as they continue walking, Jimin finds himself relaxing more and more in Jungkook's presence. The other boy's easygoing nature and kind heart are a stark contrast to the cruelty he's used to facing from his peers. Asterisk, Jungkook listens attentively as Jimin talks about his love for singing, his own smile widening. That's really cool, Jimin. I'd love to hear you sing sometime. Asterisk, he says enthusiastically. Maybe we could jam together sometime. I play the guitar a bit. Asterisk, he pauses for a moment, considering Jimin's question about his own hobbies. Asterisk, well, I'm pretty into photography. Asterisk, Jungkook admits, his eyes lighting up with excitement. Asterisk, there's something magical about capturing a moment in time, you know, freezing it forever. Asterisk, as they approach the ice cream shop, Jungkook holds the door open for Jimin, gesturing for him to enter first. Asterisk, after you. Asterisk, he says with a grin. Asterisk, the bell above the door jingles as they step inside, greeted by the sweet aroma of freshly scooped ice cream. Asterisk, the ice cream shop is cozy and inviting, with walls adorned with vintage posters and a long counter displaying an array of colorful flavors. The cheerful atmosphere seems to lift Jimin's spirits even further, and he can't help but smile as he scans the menu. Wow, there are so many options. Asterisk, he murmurs, his eyes wide with delight. Asterisk, I can't decide. Maybe I'll try the mint chocolate chip. What about you, Jungkook? Asterisk, Jungkook grins, leaning against the counter as he contemplates his choice. Asterisk, I think I'll go for the cookies and cream, classic and delicious. Asterisk, he turns to the cashier and orders their ice creams, insisting on paying, despite Jimin's protests. Hey, it's my treat, remember? Asterisk, Jungkook says, with a wink, as he hands Jimin his cone. Asterisk, come on, let's find a table. Asterisk, Jungkook leads them to a small table by the window, pulling out a chair for Jimin before taking his own seat. As they settle in, Jungkook takes a lick of his ice cream, savoring the creamy sweetness. So, Jimin, he begins, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. Asterisk, tell me more about your singing. Do you perform anywhere? Or is it just something you do for fun? Asterisk, Jimin blushes slightly at the question, looking down at his ice cream cone. Asterisk, well, I've sung at a few talent shows and school events. Asterisk, he admits shyly, but mostly I just sing for myself. It's a way to express myself and escape from everything else. Asterisk, he pauses, taking a bite of his mint chocolate chip ice cream before continuing. Asterisk, what about your photography? Do you have any favorite subjects or places to shoot? Jungkook's face lights up at the mention of his passion. Asterisk, oh man, there are so many things I love to photograph. Asterisk, he says eagerly, nature is definitely one of my favorites. Asterisk, Jungkook continues, his eyes shining with excitement. Asterisk, there's something so peaceful and beautiful about capturing the perfect sunset or a serene forest scene, but I also love street photography, trying to tell a story through candid moments and expressions. Asterisk, he leans forward, resting his elbows on the table as he looks at Jimin with genuine interest. Asterisk, you know, I've been thinking about starting a photography blog, maybe showcase some of my favorite shots and share the stories behind them. What do you think? Jimin's eyes widen with admiration as Jungkook talks about his passion for photography. Asterisk, that sounds amazing, Jungkook. Asterisk, he exclaims, his earlier shyness fading away in the face of Jungkook's enthusiasm. Asterisk, I'd love to see your work, and a blog is a great idea. It would be like a window into your world and perspective. Asterisk, Jungkook beams at Jimin's praise, his cheeks flushing slightly with pride and pleasure. Asterisk, really, you think so? Asterisk, he asks, his voice tinged with excitement. Asterisk, I'm glad you like the idea. Maybe you could even contribute to the blog sometime. Asterisk, he suggests hesitantly, not wanting to overstep or assume. I mean, if you're comfortable with it. Asterisk, Jungkook adds quickly, waving his hand dismissively. Asterisk, you could write about your experiences with singing or share some of your favorite lyrics. It would be a great way to combine our passions and create something unique together. Asterisk, he takes another lick of his ice cream, his eyes never leaving Jimin's face as he awaits his response. Jimin's eyes widen at Jungkook's suggestion, a mix of surprise and excitement flashing across his face. Asterisk, really? You'd want me to contribute to your blog? Asterisk, he asks, his voice barely above a whisper. Asterisk, I'd love that, Jungkook. It would be an honor. Asterisk, a genuine smile spreads across Jimin's face, reaching his eyes and illuminating his entire being. For the first time in a long while, he feels seen, valued, and appreciated for who he is. I have so many ideas already. Asterisk, he continues eagerly, his earlier hesitation forgotten as he leans forward in his seat. Asterisk, we could do interviews with other musicians or artists, share tips and tricks for aspiring singers or photographers. The possibilities are endless. Jungkook grins widely at Jimin's enthusiasm, feeling a warmth spread through his chest at the sight of his new friend's happiness. "I'm so glad you're on board," he says, reaching across the table to give Jimin's hand a gentle squeeze. "This is going to be amazing. I just know it." The two boys spend the rest of the afternoon chatting and laughing, their ice cream long forgotten, as they pour their hearts out to each other. Jungkook listens attentively as Jimin opens up about his struggles with bullying and his dreams of becoming a singer, while Jimin hangs onto every word as Jungkook shares his own stories and aspirations. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the city, Jungkook glances at his watch and realizes how late it's gotten. "Wow, I didn't realize how much time has passed," he says with a sheepish grin. "I should probably head home soon. My mom will kill me if I'm late for dinner again." Jimin nods understandingly, a hint of sadness flickering in his eyes at the thought of their impromptu hangout coming to an end. Asterisk, "Of course I get it," he says softly, standing up from the table. "But before you go," Jimin adds quickly, his cheeks flushing slightly as he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small notebook and pen. Asterisk, "Would it be okay if I got your number? That way we can keep in touch and start planning for the blog." He holds out the notebook and pen to Jungkook, his heart pounding in his chest as he waits for a response. Despite their short time together, Jimin already feels a strong connection with Jungkook, a sense of understanding and acceptance that he's never experienced with anyone else. Jungkook's face splits into a wide grin as he takes the notebook and pen from Jimin. Asterisk, "Absolutely." Jungkook quickly scribbles his number on the notebook and tears out the page, handing it back to Jimin with a warm smile. Asterisk, "There you go." Asterisk, he says, his eyes crinkling at the corners. Asterisk, "Feel free to text or call me anytime. I'm always here if you need someone to talk to or hang out with." He pauses for a moment, looking at Jimin with a mixture of sincerity and affection. Asterisk, "You know, Jimin." Asterisk, Jungkook begins softly. Asterisk, "I'm really glad I met you today. You're an amazing person, and I'm honored to call you my friend." Jimin's heart swells with emotion at Jungkook's words, and he feels a lump form in his throat. He quickly blinks back tears, not wanting to cry in front of Jungkook again. Thank you, Jungkook," he stammers, his voice trembling slightly. "That means more to me than you know. I'm really glad I met you too." He takes a deep breath, trying to compose himself before continuing. "And I promise I'll text you soon. Maybe we can meet up again this weekend and start planning the blog in more detail." Jungkook nods eagerly, his eyes shining with excitement. "Definitely. Just let me know what works for you, and we'll make it happen," he says, giving Jimin a reassuring smile. "And hey, if you ever need anything before then, like if those bullies bother you again, don't hesitate to reach out. I've got your back, okay?" Jimin nods solemnly, grateful for Jungkook's unwavering support. "Okay," he whispers, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you, Jungkook. I don't know what I did to deserve a friend like you, but I'm so thankful." He hesitates for a moment before stepping forward and wrapping his arms around Jungkook in a tight hug. It's a brief embrace, but it speaks volumes about the depth of Jimin's gratitude and the burgeoning bond between them. Jungkook returns the hug just as fiercely, enveloping Jimin in his warmth and comfort. You deserve all the happiness and support in the world. Asterisk, he murmurs into Jimin's ear. Never forget that. As they pull apart, JIKOOK gives Jimin a final reassuring smile. All right, I'll see you soon, he says, waving goodbye as he turns to leave. Take care of yourself, okay? Jimin watches JIKOOK walk away, his heart feeling lighter than it has in years. For the first time in a long time, he doesn't feel alone. He has a friend who understands him, accepts him, and has his back. He looks down at the piece of paper with JIKOOK's number on it, tracing the digits with his fingertip. A small smile plays on his lips as he tucks the paper safely into his pocket. Jimin takes a deep breath, feeling a renewed sense of purpose and determination. With JIKOOK by his side and their shared passion for art and self-expression, he knows that anything is possible. He starts walking home, his steps lighter and more confident than they've been in a long time. The world suddenly feels like a brighter place, full of possibilities and potential. As Jimin walks home, he can't help but replay the events of the day in his mind. The bullying, the unexpected defense from JIKOOK, their conversations over ice cream. It all feels like a dream, but the piece of paper with JIKOOK's number in his pocket is a tangible reminder that it was real. He enters his house quietly, not wanting to disturb his parents. As he climbs the stairs to his room, he hears muffled voices coming from the living room. His parents arguing again. Jimin sighs heavily, his shoulders slumping as the weight of reality settles back onto him. But even as he listens to their raised voices and bitter words, Jimin feels a spark of hope ignite within him. He has JIKOOK now, someone who sees him, accepts him, and believes in him. With that thought in mind, Jimin steps into his room and closes the door softly behind him. Jimin pulls out his phone and stares at JIKOOK's number for a long moment. With a trembling finger, Jimin types out a simple message. Hey JIKOOK, it's Jimin. Just wanted to say thanks again for everything today. You're an amazing friend. Talk to you soon. He hesitates for a moment before hitting send, his heart racing in his chest. As he waits for a response, Jimin lies back on his bed, staring up at the ceiling. The minutes tick by slowly, and just as Jimin starts to lose hope, his phone buzzes with an incoming message. He sits up quickly, grabbing his phone with eager hands. Hey Jimin, glad you texted. I was thinking about you too. Today was awesome. Can't wait to hang out again and start on that blog. You're an amazing friend too. Sleep well, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.